This video is powered by BetUS. Use promo code YouTube150 to get your 150% sign up bonus. Start playing today with an exclusive offer. Shout out to BetUS for being the proud sponsor of Roundtable Sports.
Hey, what's going on, sports fans? What's going on, Who Dat Nation? It is yours truly, Timothy J. Jones, or some like to call me TJ Jones, and I am the New Orleans Saints representative for the New Orleans Saints. I say that with pride because I grew up as a New Orleans Saints fan my entire life, but regretfully, I got to talk to you all about the 2024 season for the New Orleans Saints. And my goodness, what a train wreck, an absolute train wreck. It started off with so much promise. I mean, the New Orleans Saints came out the gate firing on all cylinders. I mean, they was about as high as fish grease. And they had the whole entire Who Dat Nation all excited, had them booking Super Bowl tickets, or in this case, you didn't have to go very far because we know that the Super Bowl is in New Orleans. And man, after those two games, a complete tailspin. The Saints went on to lose 7 straight games. I mean, injury after injury to key players. And then they fired their head coach, Dennis Allen, after a very lackluster Saints campaign. And you know, in comes Darren Rizzi as the interim coach. He comes in with a different type of flavor than what Dennis Allen had. Dennis Allen is more of a passive-aggressive, kind of laid-back coach. Darren Rizzi is kind of with the fire and fury, and I felt like that's what was needed after they fired Dennis Allen. And then, you know, the Saints come out, they play inspired football for a couple of weeks, but everybody quick to see very, very fast how you know, this team had way more issues than just Dennis Allen. And then after they let Dennis Allen go, they bring in Darren Rizzi as the interim coach. He changes some things around. It was exciting for a couple of weeks. You know, they won a few games, but we were quick to see that this team needed to hit the reset button. I mean, just as quick, fast, and in a hurry. I mean, you had Derek Carr, who has been the quarterback of the Saints for 2 seasons. He was in and out of the lineup. Spencer Rattler got the start. Jake Haener got a start, which was a disaster. Spencer Rattler showed some promise, but it was hard to evaluate him as a quarterback because the offensive line was out. No Chris Olave, no Rashid Shaheed. I mean, the Saints went into each game. It's like you basically needed a program from the game to know who was going to play at certain positions. But it just seems like the chickens were coming home to roost. Some of the bad practices that have taken place in the Saints organization started to catch up with them. You have Asian players. You're not really hitting in the draft. You got guys that you can't rely on because you don't trust them to be thrust into the lineup to make plays. And you look around the New Orleans Saints team and you really have to ask yourself objectively, who is that one guy that you look at as that future superstar for the team? And, you know, I like a lot of players. I think they're talented, but you don't really see that one guy that just kind of pops out. Now, there are some good things that are happening with the team. I think that a first-round pick from last year's draft, Talase Fuaga, I think that he did a really good job at left tackle. All the statistical categories tell you that he is trending in the right direction. He was ranked very high rather, as one of the top offensive linemen coming into the NFL. So that's a plus. You know, Kool-Aid McKinstry, their second round pick, has some ups and downs, but that kind of comes with the territory with young guys. So, you know, looking at those two individuals from last year's draft, I think that they're trending in the right direction. But I can't say definitively that they got a superstar on this football team. And you can't go any further without looking at general manager Mickey Loomis. Upon the making of this video, the Saints have yet to hire a head coach. All of the reports that we have heard and seen is that, you know, people want to come into an organization. I'm talking potential head coaches. They want to come in with a clean slate. That means maybe hiring a new general manager, maybe new infrastructure, maybe them deciding on certain things and practices that are going to take place within the organization. And the New Orleans Saints, their front office just does not want to relinquish that type of responsibility. And Mickey Loomis has done a terrible job over the last couple of years at putting the Saints in the right position to succeed, kicking the can down the road, giving these 30-plus-year-old players contract extensions. I mean, these guys are good, but you have to look at it from a business standpoint. I don't think the New Orleans Saints are looking at this team from a business standpoint. They're looking at it from a family standpoint. These guys have been on the team for a long time and they have developed relationships with them. And that's fine and dandy, but you got to be able to separate business from family. And the New Orleans Saints haven't done that. Thus, the reason why they are $60 million over the cap. And you have to wonder what's going to happen in 2025.
Huge shout out to BetUS for sponsoring today's show. If you guys go to BetUS, you guys can use a 150% bonus on your first deposit to get a 150% bonus, 125% on your next two. That's up to $2,000. The Super Bowl is here. Chiefs Eagles, and the early odds is in favor of the Kansas City Chiefs with 1-point favorites with the money line at -127, and the over-under is at 49. If you want to check out BetUS, you can already bet on the Super Bowl. They have a lot of fun prop bets. You can even bet on the coin toss if you wanted to. Are the Chiefs going to win the coin toss, or are the Eagles going to win the coin toss? And if you stay tuned to BetUS, they always come out with the best Super Bowl prop bets on the entire planet. So definitely go check out BetUS at betus.com.pa and using the promo code YouTube150 when you sign up today.
How can the New Orleans Saints fix their situation? This is just my opinion. You have to focus on the draft. You look around the National Football League, you look around the landscape of the National Football League, and you'll see even the two teams that are in the Super Bowl right now, Philadelphia and Kansas City. These are teams that built through the draft. Patrick Mahomes was drafted by the Chiefs. Xavier Worthy was drafted by the Chiefs. You got Isaiah Pacheco, Kareem Hunt, drafted by the Chiefs. Travis Kelce. I mean, do I need to say more? You look at Philadelphia, Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, their whole offensive line, drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, you got a few guys that you can add on to the team that make it a little better, but for the most part, they were drafted by their respective teams, the ones that are difference makers on their teams. So that is how you're going to get yourself out of this situation. Not looking for highly touted free agents and breaking the bank. That's not going to help you. You got to be able to build through the draft. That is number one. You have to be able to fix your interior. That means offensively and defensively. The Saints, on the defensive side of the ball, they couldn't stop the run to save their mama life. Like literally, if their mama was dangling from a rope, lowering down very, very slow into a pit of alligators, and they like, if you don't stop the run, your mama going into this alligator pit. Guess what? Somebody mama is no longer with us. They need to be able to stop the run. Brian Brzee did a good job, as far as giving pressure and sacking a quarterback. He led the team in sacks from the interior position, but he struggled when it comes to stopping a run, and so did the rest of those interior linemen that they had on their team. I'm looking at a guy like Mason Graham from Michigan that can come in, and I feel like he will fill that role. Also on the offensive line, I'm looking at guys like Will Campbell. I'm looking at guys like Banks. I'm looking at some of these big offensive linemen that can come in, that can play right away. I feel like it will help the running game because you have Alvin Kamara. And if you decide that you want to move on from Derek Carr, which a lot of Saints fans probably feel like they should, you have someone that a guy like Spencer Rattler or a young quarterback can actually lean on. He ain't got to worry about doing it all by himself. You get yourself some really good offensive linemen. You run the football, kind of similar to what Philly is doing with Saquon Barkley, right? You get yourself a really good offensive line and you rely on your superstar running back to handle up on business. And then you get your quarterback to kind of make the right decisions at the right time. That is what the New Orleans Saints need. Defensively, they need to get faster. These guys have been doing the same old song and dance for I don't know how long. Those big old tall 6'6", 6'7" guys with long wingspan that basically, if you stonewall them at the on the line of scrimmage, they ain't going anywhere. It's good to get pressure, but it's even better to get the quarterback on the ground. You look around the National Football League, teams are leaning towards those hybrid type defensive linemen, those edge rushers, those guys that can get off the line of scrimmage about as quick as offensive linemen can put their hands up. That is what the New Orleans Saints need to be focused on. I mean, they got a lot of talented defensive linemen in this draft. Hopefully, the New Orleans Saints pick one. They do need another wide receiver. Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, they're speedy, athletic guys. But since Michael Thomas left the New Orleans Saints, nobody has been able to fill that void. That big physical wide receiver that can get those yards after the catch, that can break tackles and get down the field. The Saints need to take a look at maybe getting a big body wide receiver or even a tight end that's a pass catching tight end that they can actually lean on, especially if you go with a quarterback like Spencer Rattler. If you notice, he relied a lot on the tight ends. He relied a lot on Juwan Johnson and Foster Moreau down the stretch when he was starting in games. So those are some of the things that I feel like the New Orleans Saints need to do. Once again, the New Orleans Saints season was an absolute disaster. You have to believe that whoever comes in as a head coach, it's an uphill battle for him. But in 2026, you're in a much better situation. So what the Saints need right now is to put a formidable team on the field in 2025. You never know how things are going to go. But in 2026, you can find yourself in a better position. But just make sure that you're making the right decisions in 2025 so that 2026 can be a much better situation for you. Once again, my name is Timothy J. Jones, the representative for the NFC South team, the New Orleans Saints, on the NFC South Roundtable. This moment was sponsored by BetUS. You can sign up today, get up to 150% on your first deposit and up to 125% on your second and third deposit, up to $2,000. Use the promo code YouTube150. Till next time, all I got to say is, who dat?
This video is powered by BetUS. Use promo code YouTube150 to get your 150% sign-up bonus. Start playing today with an exclusive offer. Shout out to BetUS for being the proud sponsor of Roundtable Sports.